Hi, this is Brandon Smiley from Thirst Gym here in Terre Haute, Indiana. Today we're going to talk about how you properly set up chains for the squat. So one huge benefit to chains is that it's going to help adapt to the strength curve of the exercise that you're doing. So as you stand up, you can handle more weight, and in the bottom you're not as strong, so you can't. So as you squat down, the chains are going to deload into the floor, and as you stand up, the chains are going to come off the floor, essentially adding more weight that you're actually having to lift. Like we talked about, this is good for developing strength and speed about that strength curve, depending upon how you use the exercise or how you have the chain set up. So if you have them set up incorrectly, you're not going to benefit from this. And if you have them set up correctly, you can see a huge benefit from this. So what you need is some kind of leader chain or leader apparatus. We have easy loaders from Elite FTS. These are super simple for setting up chains, and the fact that every time you set them up, it's always the same. It's always the same because you're going to use the same straps and you're going to use the same setup, and basically as long as you do that, you basically can't screw it up. It's super simple. So what you generally will see is if somebody doesn't know what they're doing with chains, is they're going to take the chain and they're going to hang it from the barbell, especially from a bench press. They're going to hang it like this. This doesn't do any good if it's happened to be like this, because this is now going to challenge the stability of the exercise over the actual speed and the power. Does this have benefit from a training perspective? It can. Generally not what you're going to see chains used for, though. You can do some different options using earthquake bars and different chaos methods to be able to benefit from this versus doing chains. Or you'll see the gyms that have the chains with the little clamp thing that goes on there, and then the chain runs from a straight line like this. This is also incorrect because most of the chain is on the ground. Okay, there's not a whole lot of chain here. This whole thing weighs 20 pounds. I got maybe 10 pounds. If I squat 300, 400, 500 pounds, 10 pounds is nothing in terms of a percentage of what I'm actually doing. So what you need to do is you need to make sure you get the right chains. You got the good 5/8 chains. You got a carabiner, and it's like this to where it's doubled up. Okay. Then whatever your loading scheme, like I said, I suggest the easy loader, but if you've got a leader chain, you get your leader chain set up correctly to where your chain is going to be set so there's always some links on the ground. So for me, I know in my training history that I always use the top rung on the easy loader. I'm short. I need to get this as high as I can while there's still chain on the ground. So there's 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 4 links per side. Okay, so that's about 8 chains. That's a couple pounds of the 20 pounds of the chain still on the ground. This stabilizes the exercise to an extent. Okay, it's on the ground. It's helping stabilize me. Is there some play? Yes, but as you add more chain, that's going to stabilize more and more and more. So now when I go down, this is going to load into the ground. It's going to get easier. It's probably going to deload almost completely. There might be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 links per one. Okay. And then as I squat up, it gets heavier. Okay? I choose to leave it on the end of the barbell so that way it feels a little bit more natural. As the weights get further out, the way the bar is going to feel on your back is going to change. So as it's out here, it's going to replicate more of what it's going to feel like, because I'm probably going to have at least 2 to 3 sets of chains on each side. And then I change the weight, and all I got to do is take it off and put it back on. So what are we looking for here? We're looking that your chains are on the ground. There's some on the ground, not all of them. It's not ran in a straight line. You got a feeder system of some kind. You got good, big, thick 5/8 chain or thicker, and you have some way to load it and change it. Now with the easy loader here, I know that I always put one at the top, and then I might put one here, and I kind of go back and forth. That way they're kind of layered a little bit differently, and it helps get me to the weight that I want. When it comes to loading the chains, what do you want on there based upon what you lift? Ideally, you're going to want 20 to 25% of your maximum lift on that exercise. So if you're a 400-pound squatter, you need about 100 pounds of chain. For us, each one of these are 20, so we're probably going to use 2 of these sets per side, which would give us 80 pounds of chain. And then there we have roughly our 20%. That way the load feels, I don't want to say necessarily natural, but it's not going to go from nothing to a million. It's going to be a good umph of chain that you're going to feel, you're going to hit but it's also something that's going to help develop speed, power, and strength for the exercise that you have. So if you got any questions about how to set up chains for the squat, what you're kind of looking for, please let me know in the comment section. Don't be the idiot that's got a straight line from your bar to the ground with the chains. You don't know what you're doing when you're setting them up. Get you an easy loader. They're like 20, 30 bucks, and then use the chains at your facility you have access to or the ones you're already using, and just buy some carabiners and make sure they're set up on your easy chain, and you're good to go. If you got any questions, leave them in the comment section. Thanks. Have a great day.